All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Thursday, January 19th, 2012. Gonna go over the one trade that we took this morning in the live trading room, and I'll go over the rules, the setups, and other things that we saw and either did or didn't do this morning in the live trading room. All right. Now let me just scroll back. This right here was the one trade. Now, per the normal 4-tick range rules, the BBC would have needed to be outside the box. You see I'm trying to scroll here. There we go. The BBC would have needed to be outside the box over here. When I say outside the box, I mean the green line, which is the BBC, would have needed to be below the red dotted line. We actually took that trade from a different time frame. Okay, we took that trade from the 2100 tick, which is right here. All right. Trying to scroll back. Everything was right about that trade when we took it. Everything, all the indications were proper, but sometimes the trades just don't work. In this particular case, the market went against us. We entered right here on a pullback to the BBC. We had a 2-point stop. You see, I drew this trend line in here. I had drawn that trend line in while we were in the trade. The trade took quite a while to actually develop. Here, I'm going to try to move these rules that I made away. It took a while for that trade to develop, and even to stop out. When it did stop out, it finally stopped out right over here. Okay, but by the rules, what we were looking for here was a cross of the BBC by the MA1, which is right here. We crossed down below the BBC by the MA1. Number 2 is a pullback to the BBC after price is pulled away from it. Okay, pullback to the BBC after price is pulled away from it. And I prefer the first pullback. And note, the cycle should be below 50 and preferably headed down. The cycle was below 50 and headed down at the time of the entry. Okay, so we entered here on a limit order at 1305 half. We got stopped out right up here at 1307 half. And something just happened and I'm losing my connection. Hopefully it's going to reconnect while I'm making this this recording. But even if it doesn't, that was the one trade that we took this morning. You can see from there, the stop out was right over here a little ways. But from there you can see price has been in, 1309 half up to 1311. About a 1.5 range for the last hour. It's been in a 1.5 range. So it's the day has been really, really range bound. We had this one little run up right here, and then it went sideways. We didn't have anything this morning as far as trades go. On the YM, this same entry right here, we had also on the YM, there was an entry. That one would have, I didn't take that one, but had I taken it, it would have stopped me out. There was a follow-up one here on the YM and on the ES. There was a follow-up right here, but I don't trade into the weekly trading zone. Same thing with the YM one. All of those would have worked had I traded them into the weekly trading zone, but I do not trade into the weekly trading zone. Now, there is one other thing that I could show you if I if I weren't reconnecting right now. I think I was using up all the memory on my computer or something. That's why it just disconnected me. But where's Alan G? He's going to be making fun of me about my computer. Bertha. Anyway. I would show you on the euro. There was a trade this morning on the euro that worked out well. I can't really scroll over to it because I'm not connected right now. But you can see we just had this run up here on the euro. It was about a 40-point run. Or not 40 pip run. Okay. We didn't have any indication to get us into that trade. Other than a little bit of divergence right here in the first pullback to the BBC, which would have been right here. Waiting for an up close or a close above the MA1 would have been down there. So we really didn't have anything to get us into that trade. There was one earlier that worked out all right, but but um, that's pretty much it. That is pretty much all we have here on the ES and the YM and the Euro this morning. Unfortunately, it's been another really, really slow day. We had really low volume. I think in the first hour we only had about 200,000 contracts traded. From 9:30 to 10:30 Eastern time, there was only about 250,000 contracts traded. I don't know how many have been traded now, but I'm guessing it's probably not that many. Let me just take a look over here on another chart and see. What we were told by Bert is that there are some big earnings releases that are due to be coming out after the bell today. So that's probably why everybody's holding off. Yeah, so far today we've got about 600,000 traded right in that area, which is really, really light volume for the market being open for 3 hours. And that's pretty much it, guys. I'm going to wrap it up right here. And we will, I'll answer any questions anybody has. I'm just going to wrap it up and pass the charts back to Dwayne here. All right.